Now here you see in our last class, previous one before the brain, we had dealt with synapse, the structure of neuron. Okay, so what is synapse? We had dealt with synapse. So synapse is the transmission between the two neurons. We had seen that they form a complex, that is with the acetylcholine, a complex is formed. So that is called synapse. But when it is, see, a rough diagram, see, when it is transmitted through the axon, this is what we would be dealing with. This is known as an impulse. Okay, now if you see this clearly, you see this is the basic structure of an axon, and here we had discussed that this is a covering of a myelin sheath. Okay, so in this myelin sheath, you see the membrane. The membrane of the neuron has ECF. What is ECF? Extracellular fluid. Okay, and this membrane is semi-permeable nature. Now they have got sodium and potassium pump to it. How is it? See, within the membrane, okay, these are the nodes where the myelin sheath is not there, and they form the entry, and they form a sodium potassium pump. Now if you take this portion out here, you see here the outside part there are positive charges, and inside it has negative charges, and these are actually the gap between them, and they are known as the nodes of Renvier, or they form an entry to the sodium and potassium pump. You see, the outside is more electropositive and inside it is more electronegative. Okay, now you see, outside these positive charges are due to the presence of sodium. You see, sodium ions are present outside the membrane sheath, and inner membrane sheath they have potassium ion. And you know, when the nerve impulse travels to this portion, okay, now this is the condition of the resting condition. That means what? The nerve is not transmitting any kind of an impulse. So when an impulse enters at this part of the axon, we call it as an excited state. So we'll come across three phases. One is polarized, depolarized, and repolarized. Okay, so what happens when the thing is being polarized? Now if you see this clearly, you see these are the nodes of Renvier's, the gapping. The sodium from outside forms an influx. What is influx? Entry. The sodium comes inside and potassium from inside goes out. Okay, so you see here it is written sodium will enter and the inner one will become positive, and see the sodium and potassium pump. See, potassium was inside and sodium was outside in the resting phase, and when the thing gets polarized, sodium starts entering the this sheath membrane and potassium goes out. So they create a pump, and that is known as an influx. And here for the ratio is 3:2. For 3 sodium atoms or 3 sodium ions, 2 potassium enters. So obviously the outside, due to the lack, see 3:2, so obviously there is a shortage of positive charge, so obviously the outside becomes negative. That means what? This is where the impulse is transmitted, and this condition where the inside is electropositive and outside is electronegative, we call this condition as a polarized state. Now see, when this portion transmits the impulse, it goes to the second phase. So what is the second phase? When the impulse is transmitted, again the same thing appears. The sodium that was inside goes outside and potassium that was outside comes in, and again the ratio is 3:2. For 3 sodium, 2 potassium enters. So obviously the outside is positive and inner is negative. So that is known as depolarized. So depolarized condition is what? The impulse has left this portion. See, and here you see the below diagram. You see this is, for example, a cut view of the whole axon. See, this axon, 3 are there and we are here. This is at the cyton end and this is at the dendron end. So first, after the transmission of the impulse, you see the impulse was here. So it got depolarized. Second, the impulse was here. So it got depolarized. And thirdly, finally, you see this is this portion where the negative charges are outside and positive. See the charges. The positive one is inside and negative is outside. So that means this portion is polarized. The polarization has been completed. So this is depolarized. And see this one, since again the inner is positive and outside is negative, that means it can be repolarized again and again. So that means what? It is a continuity process. Once the excitement is there, the inner it becomes electropositive and outside becomes electronegative. Then after a few seconds, if the transmission is here, this get depolarized and again this portion is polar. So this is how the transmission of impulse through the axon, and this happens only through the membrane, that is semi-permeable nature, and because of the ECF. Okay, so you have to remember this, and that sodium and potassium pump, you go through the video carefully and see what is there.